Sure.
Okay, it being 7 p.m., it's March 17th, 2015. I'll call this monthly town board meeting of the town of Dayton to order. This meeting and all other meetings of the town of Dayton are open to the public. The press has been notified, and the agenda has been posted so the citizenry may be aware of the time and the place and the agenda of the meeting. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. All board members are present. I hear a motion to approve or amend tonight's agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as written.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Minutes of the January 16th special meeting and the February regular town board meeting, February 16th. I'd hear a motion to approve or amend.
Make a motion to approve both the January 16th special meeting of the town board and Little Lake District Board of Commissioners, and the minutes of the February 16th town board meeting.
All in favor of approving the agenda as written, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Meetings town board members have attended. Do you have any, Jim?
I was at the Wapak County Parks meeting, and there was some discussion which will come up later on over the Dake Lake Access. And I've been in contact with a citizen over at Dog Complaint, so about it.
Glenn, did you have anything? And the Dake Lake and the minor lake accesses are proposed projects. They've been budgeted by Wapak County for this year for replacing those two boat ramps. The application has been made, and there has been a notice by the DNR that they intend to approve those applications. And Scott Kinke is the DNR official that's responsible for that. I have no other reports. Treasurer's report. Brenda is working on taxes at this time of the year. Current balance of our checking account is $31,229. The tax account balance is $810,570. And we have 3 existing CDs totaling $438,000. Total fund balance is $1,262,126. And we have checks totaling
$59,002.57. $59,000.
So a motion to transfer funds would be in order.
Make a motion to transfer $30,000 from general checking account. And I'll make a motion to approve tonight's bills, $59,000.
Let's do one at a time here. I would suggest that we amend that to transferring $60,000, so we have a balance in the checking account.
I'll go ahead and approve the amendment.
All in favor of transferring the $60,000 to the general checking account, please say aye. Aye. We've got one correction to the check report. Under other maintenance,
Which page?
page 3, the 118177 is a duplicate bill, so that check has been voided.
Any total?
I would make a motion to approve the checks as presented, with the exception of the check to Fable for 118177. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Chairman's report. We do have a correction on the road accident data that I presented last month. I said at that time the results were preliminary. There are no accidents that were added, but in some municipalities they have multiple agencies that respond to some of the accidents, including sometimes in the town of Dayton, and each agency puts out a report, so the state is going through that data to eliminate the duplicates. The town of Dayton totals decreased by 4 non-injury accidents, while Patrick County's totals decreased by over 200 non-injury accidents, but the updated totals are on the town website. The bridges, the contract with the Pfeiffer Brothers specifies that they have to start after May 15th, after May 14th actually, and they have to be completed by August 21st because they are working in trout streams. The schedule at this point is still preliminary, but they would start with West Road over Emmons Creek on May 14th, and after about 3 weeks, part of the crew would move over to Dayton Road. Estimated time is June 4th for that change. I expect that the West Road Bridge on over Radley Creek would follow the same schedule, so that would be roughly June 15th to 21st. That repair would start. We have not gotten the bids for the West Road project yet. The bids are due on Thursday of this week, and then the engineer will be reviewing them after that. On Fern Avenue, the surveyor has started to do some of the field work The intention is that he'll be marking the proposed right-of-way fairly soon, so the people on that road that have some sales pending can complete their preliminary surveys and determine what the impervious surface calculations are and land division calculations would be. That's all I have. Public input, is there anybody with any public input for this evening? Yes.
I would just like to remind everybody that on this Thursday night, March 19th at 6:30, in the lower level of the library, there will be 3 speakers who will discuss county recycling, county parks, and local geology, and how they can affect the quality of life in Dayton. This is specifically for Dayton. The speakers are Deb Crodwell from Waupaca County's recycling coordinator, Trish Now, a park and rec planner for the Central Wisconsin Regional Planning Commission, and Terry Gerlach, a retired U.S. Geological Survey geologist. Each speaker is going to speak about 20 minutes, and there'll be time for questions and answers. So I encourage everyone to come with us. Very informative meeting on Thursday at the library, 6:30. Thank you.
Is there anyone else this evening? Seeing none, we'll move on. First item is Resolution 150301 to approve exceptions in the SilverMist Sign Permit on Highway 22. SilverMist had a commercial business and signage that predated our sign ordinance. Their existing sign blew over in one of the windstorms last fall, so they need to replace it. Their existing sign was larger than our ordinance called for, so they made a proposal based on the traffic speed and the visibility of their business. And the Planning Commission met and made a recommendation to authorize an exception to the Dayton sign ordinance to permit the replacement of a damaged sign with a illuminated digital display. The sign and the display will total about 60 square feet. There's also a pre-existing sign on the premise on the south end of their property that alerts people to the business and that their entrance is 900 feet beyond that sign. But they will be removing then the additional signs and banners that have kind of multiplied into the highway right-of-way in that area. So recommendation was to approve the exception. It's done as a resolution because it's an exception to the ordinance, and I believe the town board has to authorize that. So I would move that resolution 150301 be approved.
I'll second
Discussion?
What was the current size of their sign before it blew down?
It was in excess of 40 square feet. It was the same size as the panel that they have up at the south end of their property. And then it had a banner over the top of it. So it was roughly in the 50 square feet area.
And I don't have a problem with them going with the 60 square foot size, except for if they're replacing a damaged sign or one that was taken down because of wind, and it's still non-compliant, I say go with the same size. Or we revisit the entire sign ordinance and change that, but to not only give them permission to rebuild what they had, but then add to it, I have an issue with that.
Well, the recommendation actually was to revisit the sign ordinance. The sign ordinance was written before digital display signs were.
Digital display signs are part of the sign ordinance.
Not the same kind of signs that we now have. Signs have changed quite a bit in the last 15 years, and the recommendation was that the town sign ordinance be revisited. And we have a couple of samples that I've received from surrounding jurisdictions. The note was made that if the sign is too small and people can't see it, and you have sudden braking on the highway, then we are possibly creating a hazard at the entrance. And Tim's mentioned that there have been 2 accidents, including one accident with fatalities, approximately at their entrance. So
There also was information about Lincoln County that they had done actually speed and visual tests. And this was the recommendation that came under.
I guess as long as it's the intent to revisit the entire sign ordinance and not just say, okay, we can modify it for this and resolution 2 and not have any other businesses in town feel the benefit from that.
well, and that is part of the motion that the SilverMist Garden Center and actually also the second one, the Chain BP, meet the current modifications to the Dayton sign ordinance as far as hours of sign operation and brightness of illumination. So it would be my intent to present that to the Planning Commission with some specifications for those 2 items. Any other suggestions or recommendations or?
I'll call for the question.
All those in favor of resolution 150301 as written, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. The other sign. Looks like I have 2150302.
Yeah, your numbering is run in.
The other sign is for Mel Harn doing business as Chain BP at N2479 County Highway Q. Mel has signed a new franchise for his gas distribution, which requires a change in the gas sign, the pylon sign that's near the corner. There's also sign identification on the canopy going around over the pumps, and there's further sign identification on each of the gas pumps, all of which would qualify as signs under our ordinance. So he has almost 440 square feet there of signage once you get the canopy and the band around the canopy involved. That band is the majority of the signage, other than the pylon sign. I think it's 260 square feet of edging around the canopy that qualifies as a sign. So in this case, Mel is not expanding the signage. He is replacing the existing signage with a different brand signage. So I'd make a motion that resolution 150302 concerning the signage for Mel Harn, N2285 Highway WI, doing business as Chain BP for a little while longer, be approved.
I'll second that.
Further discussion?
Same concern as I would like to make sure that the planning commission and the board revisit the current sign ordinance.
Well, and we also added the same, that additional non-conforming signs and banners will be removed. They presented the measurements that the existing building signage totals about 110 square feet, and I'm proposing that be changed to a permitted sign as opposed to just a grandfathered sign. All in favor of 150302 as written, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Next item is the ordinance under new business is ordinance 1501 to modify Board of Review procedures. This is in a ordinance form. Let's see here. The state legislature passed an amendment to Board of Review procedures in the last legislature that take effect with the next Board of Review. Phone-in testimony or written sworn testimony is permitted to be presented to the Board of Review. The Wisconsin Towns Association recommended that be done as an ordinance form, and ordinance 1501 is essentially what the Wisconsin Towns Association recommended. This establishes then the procedure for that written or telephone testimony. A property owner has the right to grieve a Board of Review's decision to the circuit court, and so this establishes the documentary procedure for the Board of Review hearing. I would make a motion that ordinance 15-01 to establish procedures and criteria for allowing alternative forms of sworn testimony at Board of Review hearings be adopted.
I'll second that.
Discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Next item, which should be numbered 150303, is to approve modifications to Dake Lake Access. taking this back and forth a little bit. I think I got this number wrong, I'm sorry. Dake Lake Public Access. The original accesses to Dake Lake and Minor Lake were leased on a 20-year lease to Wapaka County for operation. They have maintained and operated those for about 10 years. And they're further planning to improve both of those boat launches this year in conjunction with a DNR powerboat grant from the DNR. The area that we're proposing to add to the Dake Lake boat access is the Long Cove Road portion between Butternut Road and Court Road. That area we widened and gravelled the shoulder so people could park safely. Once we get this completed, there will be a launch fee consistent with the other Wapaka County boat launches that Wapaka County will operate and maintain and use some of that revenue to offset some of their costs to patrol that.
There has been currently a boat ramp fee there too, correct?
There has been a boat ramp fee. It was a real issue with some of the users there. We had a boat ramp, but we did not have any place to park, and people got tickets both from the town of Dayton and from Wapaka County Sheriff's Department, and it was a situation that just generated a lot of complaints. So we did make one modification. We had a request to add on the general section, section F, where the wording was the county shall have the legal authority to enforce all county park ordinances within the right-of-way of Long Cove Road. And we added between Butternut Road and Court Road to limit that to that one section of road. I sent that to Mr. Holman today, or yesterday, and he verbally approved adding that to the agreement. So.
Question?
Yes, sir.
As far as the gravel turnaround there, I'm assuming that the town of Dayton paid for that?
Yes.
Is that a reimbursable expense from the county at this time?
No.
Even though on section 5, general H, so the Wapaka County is authorizing the capital improvements to the access area or enhanced parking.
Yes.
Why wouldn't they then pay for it?
Well, the general rule is the DNR grant only reimburses expenditures after their grant is approved, and they have not approved a grant for parking. We did talk about that over the last couple of years, because that's not a designated parking area for boats, or it's not a purchased parking lot type of situation. It may not be eligible for this type of grant. The parking area is designated to be within the town road right away, which is a town road maintenance issue, and the town gets transportation aids based on mileage of town roads.
Well, I don't think it's got anything to do with the DNR at this point. It says, well, Packer County's on the lines, and that's in their lease agreement that we've had for 10 years. Why wouldn't they reimburse us?
Again, because we're working in the town road right away only here.
In my understanding, and we've got Roger in the back too, is we are turning this over to the county. We create it, give it to the county, they will maintain it from that point forward. And so if the future needs more gravel next spring, later on this summer, the county would be in charge of that. But because there was no current parking available at this location, we created the parking so that it alleviates some of the problems. And thus turning it over to the county, now they will be in charge, it'll be part of their lease agreement. I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the lease agreement, which is it actually a resolution or just approve the lease agreement?
Well, the resolution is numbered 150305 on the sheet that you have. It's numbered 150303 in on the agenda, and 150303 would be the correct number for the resolution. It's done as a resolution because the lease agreement itself is recorded, so that will require signatures witnessed by a notary public.
I'll make a motion then to approve resolution 150305.
No, 150303.
150303.
On the Dake Lake Access.
On the Dake Lake Access.
I'll second
Okay. Further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
that.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Next item is resolution 150304 to oppose a change from municipal assessment to county assessment. Part of the state legislatures, and this one is numbered as 150302. You might guess that I changed my numbering system to add the sign permits after I'd already numbered a couple ones. But it's in your packet there, it's labeled 150302. The correct number is 150304 on the DOR changes. The Department of Revenue has proposed to the legislature that municipal assessments be taken away from the towns and made the responsibility of the county. Furthermore, that each county would be required to have 100% property assessment for every property year, which would require a recalculation of the property assessments on an annual basis for each property in the county. The estimate to do that would be $25 per parcel. The average in the state is that the parcels are being assessed by townships for an average of $5 to $7 per parcel. So the estimate is that this would perhaps triple the cost of assessments to the local townships. property assessments are never an exact science, but creating an assessment department at Waupaca County, I don't think is the cure for that. Wisconsin Towns Association and Wisconsin municipalities, I think it's the cities league has come out opposed to it, and the Wisconsin Counties Association is opposed to this change, but it's been added into the current budget process by the Department of Revenue. So the Towns Association has asked us to make a resolution if we are opposed to that, and that's what this resolution is. I would make a motion that Resolution 150304, opposing the county assessment, change from local municipal assessment be changed, and I would recommend its passage.
I'll second
Discussion, Jim?
it. Nope, the Town Association, I have read that through there, and they're adamant that this is not a good thing for towns and villages.
Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. And I would ask that we sign a corrected, with the number corrected tonight so it can be sent out. Next item is resolution, got this one screwed up too. It should be 150305.
It is correct.
So on the agenda, I have
Oh.
150405.
Well, on the resolution, you have it right.
On the resolution, I have it right. Okay, resolution 150305 will authorize a grant request for GNR shared funding for recreational boat facilities to replace a deteriorated boat ramp at Spencer Lake in the town of Dayton. It's something that we've discussed for a couple of years, and I did get a message that Waupaca County is not looking at taking over additional access facilities in the town of Dayton, so it's time to get this one completed.
Is this 100%?
This is a 50-50 shared funding. I have not gotten the updated proposals. I did have Waupaca County give me a proposal a couple years ago, and they were at around $20,000 to replace that one.
Where would this
I will,
be budgeted from? Because this was not on the budget, correct? Or?
It was on the budget. It was removed from the budget at the request of individuals who thought it should not be in the budget if we had not received the grant.
If we apply for the grant and don't move forward, nothing is harmed, correct?
If we apply for the grant, we still would come back to the board for action once we have proposals or cost proposals.
And this grant, we can't apply for 2016 at this point? It has to be in the calendar year, is that correct?
No, there is a time period to complete the work. I believe that they would extend it into 2016.
Okay. I'll make a motion to go ahead and approve resolution 150305.
For the DNR cost share grants.
Correct. For Spencer Lake.
Glenn, that was a second. All in favor, please
Well,
say.
can I have a little more comment on that?
You certainly may.
With the understanding that you can go to the DNR and double check and bring it back to the next meeting. When the work has to be completed, if we can apply for it this year, get everything, contract signed even, and look for next year's budget.
I'll bring the timetable back to the board.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Not all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Set the agenda for the annual town meeting. The annual town meeting has no agenda per se. However, if the board wishes to make a proposal to the town, that should be noticed approved by the town board and noticed in advance. I have nothing at this time, but if the town board has anything to add to an agenda for the annual meeting, this would be the opportunity.
I do not.
Okay, so no action taken on item E. Upcoming meetings, the monthly plan commission meeting would be April 14th. The regular spring election will be April 7th. The annual town meeting would be April 21st at 7 p.m. The regular town board meeting would follow the annual town meeting. I believe that the board outside may be wrong. The April monthly town board meeting comes after the annual town meeting, and that would be the first meeting of the new board at that time.